to go ahead and get started this morning. We have a wonderful panel of people up here, and we want to go ahead and take this morning along with Winston Robinson. Okay. And what we're going to do, we do have City Council at large. I believe this is at large candidates with us today. But we're going to begin with Ken, who's going to give us a word of prayer. Oh, okay. The bishop will give us a word.
Good morning, everybody. Now, I'm going to tell y'all, the facilitators don't like it when I do what I'm about to do. But I really don't care, because I'm the bishop. And the bishop do what the bishop want to do. Lock the door.
Oh, wow.
So this morning, what I'm going to do is, because all of us here have a variety of different things, people, thoughts on our minds that we'd like God to address. And so, to that point, I'm going to take a point of privilege and ask us all to just do a moment of silence with focus on what it is that we're asking God for today. So, as for me, may the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable in your sight, O God, my strength and my Redeemer. And now, for you, we'll bow. Amen. And if it was going to take you longer than that, you need to get an appointment with me.
Thank you very much. I'd also like for us to take another moment of silence for the passing of our great civil rights attorney, Ferguson. He passed on Monday. So let's just take a moment of silence for that. Thank you so much. Okay, today we do have at-large candidates, and we're going to let them introduce themselves. And following their introduction, and I'm going to give them maybe 1 or 2 minutes to introduce yourself and say what you want to say. And then I'm going to take questions from the audience. You have 30 seconds to ask your question, okay? So, no commentary. Let's try to eliminate commentary and get to the question, because I hate to cut you off before you get to ask your question. Okay, and then we have 4 people. You can either identify one person that you want to ask the question, or if you want everybody to answer. But just keep in mind that if everybody is going to answer that same question, we're going to limit you each to like 1 minute. Okay, so you may not get a complete answer, the deep dive answer that you're looking for. Okay, but this is your opportunity to interact with persons who are running for at large. Also, we don't have everyone here who's running at large. Okay, Smudgy Mitchell, who is running at large, had a conflict. He had to be in Raleigh today. So he really is sorry that he can't be here, but he's very supportive of the Tuesday Forum. And then there are others also. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. And we're going to...
Ladies first.
Oh, ladies first. Well, you don't have to move. But
My grandmother would be all over me.
Okay, we have 3 mics up here for you all to share. And make sure that you're holding it up, okay? We are not streaming this morning on the website, but we are on Facebook, okay? So, thank you. So, would you like to start? Oh, wait a minute, one more thing, I'm sorry. Please silence your cell phones. Please do that. silence your cell phones.
Good morning. My name is Namrata Yadav, and I'm running for Charlotte City Council at large. So a little bit about me. I'm an immigrant. I am an American. I am your neighbor. I'm a mom to 2 amazing kids. I'm a veteran's daughter. I'm a wife. I've been a community advocate and mentor. I'm a corporate executive. And the past few years, I've also been very angry and frustrated. And that's what really fueled me this go around to run for office. I believe that it doesn't matter whether you have a certain accent or race or nationality, to be able to advocate for dignity, for respect, for equity. I think that takes a lot of grit and passion and certain lived experience. And that's what I've done my entire life, an entire career. I've spent 20 years of my career focused on diversity, equity, and inclusion. I have worked with communities, with leaders, with markets, to ensure that especially women and people of color have access to jobs, have access to tools to thrive, and have the training required. And that's what I want to be able to do for Charlotte City at large and at scale. That's the experience and expertise that I'm bringing in. I also believe that our zip code should not determine how investments are made in our communities. I have been extremely fortunate that I got access to economic opportunity, and I've seen firsthand what that has done to my life. And I want to be able to continue doing that because I feel every single person in Charlotte deserves to thrive, deserves to have the tools to be able to live their best life. I'm not a career politician, so this is something very new for me. I've never delved in this space, but what I am is 20 years I've been a community-centered problem solver. So I'm here to partner, to listen. I'm not going to make any promises, but I know what I will commit to is I'm going to continue advocating for city policies that focus on equity, that focus on expanding affordable housing, that focus on public safety, that keep our transit policies accountable, and most importantly and most passionately, what I'm actually, and my expertise in is vocational training and upward mobility. I want to continue focusing on that. So thank you for having me here today. Thank you for hearing my story. And I would be honored to be able to serve you and have your support. Thank you.
No, I don't know how many minutes you want from me.
Oh, it was supposed to be 1 and 2. Okay, yeah. Oh, now we want to do it. Good morning, Tuesday morning Breakfast Forum. I'm LaWanda Slack Mayfield. I serve here on City Council as an at-large member. This time around, I was first elected in 2011, representing District 3, Southwest Charlotte for 8 years. And then ran in 2019, did not win. Unfortunately, we all experienced the impacts of the pandemic. The community came out and supported for me to come back. So now it's about 11 and a half years in of me serving. And what I'm proud of is that each term, I have been able to move conversation forward. I've been able to not only introduce language and consideration for my colleagues, because it takes a minimum of 6 votes. There are 11 of us. 1 individual cannot do. I'm not going to make a promise of what I can do, but along with my colleagues over the years, I was able to create the TLC by CLT housing rehab program that helped a lot of people. We were able to see a lot of economic development over in Southwest Charlotte that did not see as much development as other parts of the community. I'm not going to say what we didn't have and what wasn't done previously. There's always an opportunity to look at more ways for us to grow. The District 3 Airport Job Fair that I created when I first got in, ran for 7 of the 8 years that I was in office, and my apologies for not having this close enough. This time around, what I'm really proud of is not only being the person that's leading the Faith in Housing initiative that Mayor Lyles announced, where we are specifically working with religious institutions, because some of us know churches have land, well, some churches have buildings. How do we reimagine that space? How do we make sure that our religious community and our leaders are comfortable having discussions with developers so that they don't lose their land when this new development goes up next to their building. So we have created a toolkit, and we have been working on that, and there's been a lot of interest because people want to help. There's a challenge when people ask me, or ask, honestly, my colleagues, what are you gonna do about gentrification? You don't want me telling you, I'm not messing with you, you don't want me telling you that you can't sell your home, but you want us to give you options to create better development. I'm LaWanna Slight Mayfield. You can follow me at LaWannaMayfield.com, and I'm glad to be here with all of you this morning and ask for your support.
Good morning. I'm Dr. Victoria Watlington, and I have the pleasure of serving you on City Council as a member at large. I've been serving on City Council since 2019, first as the district rep for District 3 after Councilmember Mayfield. And after my service in District 3, I then ran at large, and thank you all for your support and your confidence in me to begin serving in that capacity. I am running for re-election for at large, focused on the same priorities that I was when I first began, and they are community-led planning, affordable housing, transportation, and economic mobility. Time and time again, we come back to those 4 key concerns, because no matter what the issue is, what the season is, we've got to work together. And that is why community-led planning is at the top. I started as a neighborhood leader. I started serving in my neighborhood and serving on the West Boulevard Neighborhood Coalition. I had the pleasure of attending many of the city's academies and learning and understanding how the policy works and how things get done. And so I can attest to the ability of people, everyday people and neighbors, to come together and advocate and advance policy. And that's how it's supposed to work, right? It's not supposed to be top-down leadership where the vision is set for you, but we are here to listen, and that is how I approach my role. I consider myself your representative, and that's not just a role, it is my job description. And so when we come to the table each and every Monday and throughout the week, it's important to me that as I look around the room, that the times that I'm talking to you are not just in these instances. I see plenty of people around the room that I've worked on different projects with. And so I thank you for allowing me to come alongside you in the work that you're already pushing. I'm very, very proud of the work that I've been able to be a part of in the last 6 years. I serve you currently as the Housing, Safety, and Community Committee Chair, along with Vice Chair Mayfield and a number of other council members, and we've done incredible things, including the $100 million housing bond. So thank you for your support on that, and I look forward to continuing to work with you.
Good morning. If you don't mind, I'm just going to sit here. My name is James Giovanni Lockhart. I'm running for City Council at large, J.G. Lockhart for Charlotte City Council. I'm a native Charlottean, born and raised here. And I moved away and I lived a few different places. And when I come back home, I look at some of the areas that have experienced tremendous growth and development, and I see other areas that have been left behind. Now, I know as an original Charlottean, we're an eclectic kind of folk. We, are kind of quiet, we really don't cause a lot of fuss, but over the past 3 decades, we've had an influx of transients, people that have moved here that think that their ideas for Charlotte are what's best. And I know that the Charlotte that I grew up in is the reason that people moved here in the first place. I'm running to preserve that. I'm asking for your votes. Going forward, there's a lot of fraud, waste, and abuse of the taxpayer dollars happening in uptown Charlotte. There's a lack of transparency in government, and we need to look at that a little bit more. We have youth that are killing themselves for reasons unknown. And that's because we're not modeling what they need to see. And I decided that I wanted to be that example that the youth could start looking up to and want to do something bigger and better for the city that they grew up in, the city that I love. So I appreciate your votes. You'll hear a lot more from me, I promise, in the future. Again, J.G. Lockhart for Charlotte City Council at large. Thanks.
Start with Mr. King Coons. He has a question. Bishop. Oh, we have another candidate. Okay. Okay, thank you. Come on and join the group. Okay, you have up to 2 minutes to introduce yourself. To introduce yourself. Yeah. We haven't even started questions yet. We're still introducing. Okay. Okay. Introduce yourself.
Good morning. My name is Will Holly. I'm not a lawyer, not a doctor. I don't have a PhD. I'm a small business owner and builder by trade. I'm a proud Charlotte resident for the last 17 years. I run for city council at large because I know what it feels like to be overlooked, to work hard, to do the right thing by people, and still not have a voice represented at the table. I believe we can grow as a city without pushing out the people that built it. And I believe public safety should work for everyone. I believe the city should do more than create programs. It should make sure that people who need them most actually know they exist. Charlotte has resources. Too many families never heard about them. I want to change that. I'm not your typical politician. That's exactly why I'm running. I believe in transparency and seclusion and making sure everyone from zip code to zip code with Charlotte have a voice at the table. Wow.
I'm probably the dinosaur in the room among media, and my term goes back to before we had district representation. And now that we've had it, it seems that from a black perspective, we get people elected and they want to stay forever. They don't know when enough is enough. So my question to each of you is, how long do you think enough is enough, or are we ready for term limits and full-time positions?
Okay, well, I guess. I know, not everybody's ready. Okay. Right, so you want everyone to answer that. So one, full-time, yes, I agree, because this is not a part-time job. I say this is a full-time, part-time pay job, because we are out here 7 days a week, because there's always something happening in the community that we need to meet with, but that is a decision that council has the ability to make. We've gotten to the point, right to the edge a couple of times, but haven't necessarily got all the votes to say, yes, we need to go full-time. I think at the end of the day, for me, it should be full-time, 4-year staggered. Because 2 years is a very short period of time to get a lot of work done. It is only through grace and mercy that I've been able to get a good number of products and projects done throughout the city in that 2-year period. But that is very difficult because you really have 1 year, and if you're brand new, that first year is water from a fire hydrant. You're trying to learn policy, learn how to move the work forward. The community with us having 2-year terms, y'all are our term limits, to be perfectly honest. You all have the opportunity to come out and vote. Now, at this point, I've been serving 11 and a half years. I am proud of the 11 plus years that I've been serving. And I do not plan to be here when I'm 60 and 70 years old. Yet, at the same time, as long as I feel like there's a need for me to continue to fight, I'm going to come to you and ask for your support, and you all choose to support me, then I'll keep fighting.
And, okay. I think personally for me, enough is enough. And that's why I'm running. So this is, I've been very involved in the national politics. I got involved in the campaign last year. And I realized that I personally could not do much to make an impact at the federal level. And for me, that's when I'm like, enough is enough. I need to not lose faith in this country. I can't let this country lose faith in me and my kids. And I decided to get engaged in local politics. And that's when I realized that there's so much work we can do. I agree with you. While I'm learning this process, it's brand new for me. I'm realizing how difficult it is for people to run, and I have insane respect for anybody who wants to do public service. It's not easy. I also know that I wish it was full-time, because at the same time that I'm trying to run, I'm trying to find another job because my job won't allow me to run. So I'm trying to figure out hustle because I need to pay my bills too. So I would love that it's a full-time. I would always be supportive of that. And I do think there should be term limits, whether it is, we have minimum ages, we have maximum ages, we have term limits also to just the positions. We should look at that.
Thank you for the question. As a working professional who served for the last 6 years, I certainly bring a little bit of a different perspective to it. Each time this conversation has come around, my focus has been, what is the goal? What is the outcome? Because our process should be subordinate to the desired outcome. And so when it comes to how we think about who are the people that have the kinds of skills and the connection to the community that we need, that's where we need to really focus. A lot of times we talk about term limits, but we don't have anybody in the pipeline because we're not raising people up. We're not training folks. Councilmember Mayfield is absolutely correct. Had I not been serving in the community and working very closely with local government as a representative, as a private citizen, I would have not been able to ramp up and come in very clear about what the priorities were and how to get the work done. So I do think there is absolutely something to be said for creating a talent pipeline ongoing for now and for the future. So that's something that we all gotta own. So one of the things that I do think is important, however, is that you do have an opportunity to have that work experience so that you can bring those technical skills to the table. It is a heavy thing to decide to run for office. And one thing that I appreciate about where I sit is that I'm able to do this as service, and that it's not tied to my full-time job. I don't have to consider how I'll pay my bills based on a particular stance that I take. I feel a freedom to do what I believe is right and what the people want without being afraid that it's going to impact the bottom line in my household. So I definitely think that it is worth the conversation of how we best get to the outcome, but I absolutely think that there are ways that we can do that, but we've got to develop it together.
Term limits, absolutely. Just like the president gets 8 years and he's out of there. I mean, if you're on a city council and you've been here 10 years or more and you feel like you still need more time, then what have you done with the past 9 years? You know, me, I'm ready to get to work. I'm ready to work with people across the board, people in the neighborhood. I have my ideas of what we need to get done. The problems are there. So if elected, I'm hitting the ground running, you know. So I believe, 4, 8 years is enough. I mean, anything more than 8 years, you probably should be running for state office or federal office. So I definitely believe we have to look at term limits. And to piggyback on what people to my left just said, as a community, we have to do better. And I'm talking about us. We have to do better as far as educating ourselves. And I don't want anybody to feel some kind of way, but we've got a whole bunch of high schools that just graduated that can vote in this election. And whether they're your children or your grandchildren, do they know what to do? Do they know who to vote for? Do they know what they want? That's our responsibility, to teach the youth about how to lead us into the next century. Because more than likely, we're not going to be here, okay? But they are. So as far as term limits, I'm all for it.
That's a great question. I don't think you're no dinosaur though. That's a blessing to be where you at though. Term limits, I mean, I don't think at the time you put a time limit on when you're doing something good. I mean, you got somebody in the community that's actually advocating for you and standing up for you and answering your calls and coming there for you, like, you know, let them do it as long as you can do it. I mean, as long as you can see, walk, talk, you know, and it makes sense. I mean, let them keep going. That's how I feel on it.
Before we go to the next question, let me say this. I appreciate your willingness to stand. I too grew up in a black church. But please, when you answer questions, just we have the microphone and we'll make sure we get you on the live stream so you don't have to stand when you answer. Thank you so much. Faith.
Good morning. I'm Faith Triggs with Habitat. Good morning. My question as probably as a couple of young people in the audience. First and foremost, I want to thank the Sarah Stevenson Tuesday Morning Forum. This has been a wonderful opportunity for me to bring my intern down here from Habitat to meet people in the community, to network, and to help her give some sense of what her future is going to be, or what her role is going to be. So my question to the panelists is, from a youth perspective, because we need to pass the torch, as some of you have mentioned, what is the absolute worst advice you received that you acted on or that you didn't act on? And what would you tell a young person and the young people in the room in the sense of how to move forward based on advice?
Can I ask you a clarifying question? Do you mean specific to public service or in life in general?
Life in general, whatever you are willing to share.
I'm thinking, maybe two. One actually I've been getting it across the board the last year since I started to do this, was one person can't make any difference or change. I've been told that by my family, by friends, that they think I'm crazy. I want to believe that's not true because I feel every single one of us can do something, even if it's minutiae and I make an impact in the world. I mean, that's what matters to me. That's one. And I will also say another one. I was in a really bad marriage initially that brought me here. I had my family and friends also say like, hey, I mean, just go ahead and maybe he'll improve and he'll change. But anger doesn't go away. So you need to make decisions for yourself, especially when you're sitting all alone in a bathroom, locked up with fear. That's when I realized that was bad advice for me.
So yes, I'm too much saying. So it's a two point. One, for me, that your voice doesn't matter and that your vote doesn't matter. And as was said, that one doesn't make a difference. We can look in Congress right now. Texas, the representative passed away. That seat is now open for 18 months. That big, crazy bill passed by one vote, and that was the individual where that seat was open. So it could have been stopped. So I think the idea that you don't have power in your voice, if you have individuals telling you that, that's their fear. Because unfortunately they didn't find their own voice to use that power. So you should use that as the fuel for you to go after exactly what God has put on your heart.
Thank you. So I was thinking that I had one, but then I realized that I did not act on that advice because I've always been one to detect a little bit of, that ain't quite right. So I'm gonna give you two that were the best pieces of advice to me, if you'll allow me, Faith. My very first boss, she was a lot of things, but she was sharp, she was mean, and she didn't play. And I remember two things that she told our team. Number one, put your eyes on the data. Don't ever let somebody be able to snow you because they know more than what you're talking about, right? So when you are going to step out and put your name on the line, make sure that you can point exactly to where you got that information. And then number two, don't be the gap. So we used to have this Monday or this morning meeting every day. It was called Daily Direction Setting. And what you were supposed to do, I worked in manufacturing. So you come in and you go through what we call key performance indicators, your PQCDSM. How well did your line run? What was the quality? Were there any safety incidents, et cetera? And people would come in and supposed to give their report and talk about what went wrong and how they were going to address it. And folks would come in and say, well, I wasn't able to come up with an action plan because I didn't get the information from so-and-so. You don't ever want somebody to be able to say that they couldn't do their job because you didn't do yours. And those two things have always stuck with me.
Oh, no, don't put that person on the floor. Somebody, look, we get a chair. Okay. Mm-mm.
We have Ms. Dimple Engineer, and she's running. At large, and she just was able to join us right now, so we're going to give her a chance to introduce herself, and then we'll get back to the question. I also want to, I didn't say this at the beginning, but we have 3 incumbents that are sitting up here, and I'm sure we all know that, but I just wanted to identify three incumbents who are here with us today, along with people running.
Thank you, Ms. Mary. Members, and it's because of your trust I've been honored to serve on Charlotte City Council for 4 terms. I'm seeking my 5th term on the Charlotte City Council because the work we started, I need to continue that work. Together, thanks to Councilwoman Mayfield, Councilwoman Watlington, we have made historic investments. We went from $15 to $100 million in affordable housing. Because we recognize the dire need of affordable housing in our community. We made $400 million understand how critical it is to have infrastructure, especially our sidewalks. We also increased our minimum wage. I remember when I first started on the Charlotte City Council from $18 to $24 per hour. Because if you are working in the city of Charlotte, you should be able to afford to live in the city of Charlotte. And I want to continue this work, and I hope to have your continued support as I seek my 5th term on the Charlotte City Council. So I see the sign here, 30 seconds. I'll end it with this. Keep it simple. Vote for Dimple.
Can we repeat that question so that,
So again, the question is based in providing wisdom to our youth. What is the absolute worst advice that you've ever received? And it could be professionally, career, personal, whatever you'd like to share. Absolute worst advice you've got, if you did act on it, you didn't act on it. But thinking about that, how you can give that message back to your citizens. I think, yeah.
Like, go ahead.
Well, when it comes to our youth, I personally think one of the most important things that we need to teach our youth is conflict resolution. You hear small arguments turn into violence, and we have invested heavily in our youth programming. This is the first time the city of Charlotte had a youth program office dedicated. That was a result of fiscal year 2026. That was approved just in June. Was it June or May? So that shows our commitment to investing in our youth. And so the best advice is, when you are a teenager, how do you how do you stay calm in a very difficult or tense situation? I think that's one of the most important things that the council is working on, and I'm committed to continuing to invest in that.
I can hear you. Thank you.
Now. All right. Again, my name is James Giovanni Lockhart, JG Lockhart for Charlotte City Council at Large. And growing up off the Ford, we received a lot of bad advice. I can honestly tell you, I received a lot of bad advice. Probably one thing that sticks out was when someone would tell you, why can't you be like this person? Or why can't you be like somebody else? And this was before I even knew who I was. I was trying to figure it out. And then when you throw me a curveball and say, be like this individual, they're trying to figure it out as well. And so you kind of get caught up in that. But I would encourage young people to practice who they want to be every day. Each day we wake up, we get that day. Tomorrow's not promised. And I know a lot of young people don't think about dying, but it's more prevalent than ever that life is precious and we don't have tomorrow. So I would encourage, and when I do talk to young people, I encourage them, every day you wake up, you get an opportunity to practice who you want to be every single day. And if you live that day and you wake up tomorrow, then you're that much closer to who you want to be. So I would encourage young people to every day practice who they want to be. You're not going to always get it right. You're going to make mistakes. We all do. We all make mistakes. We're going to continue to make mistakes. Because of him, but through faith and thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, you good?
I gotta stand up. All right. That was a good question. I'm from Gates County. It's a real country town. I'm talking way down there, like up there by Elizabeth City, North Carolina. Everybody talk about this. The youth, I get it. And then, like, the main thing we got to push aside of them is, like, education. Like, what I'm saying? That's the way out. I mean, I ain't saying, like, going to college or anything, but just a good thing, like a trade school or something. So they ain't out here just doing this idle stuff that they're doing right now. And then, like, we need to start holding some of these parents accountable for the way their kids are moving around. Like, you know what I mean? So, like, you can't, and then touch on that question, is like, if we start at the head of the house and working down to the smaller part of the house, it'll all fall together. I mean, that's how I feel.
Thank you. Did everyone have a chance to answer? Okay. We're going to move on now.
Mr. Lockhart, Mr. Holly, being a Charlotte native myself, I definitely appreciate your angst to get out there and want to put yourself out there to fight for your community. Understanding the bureaucracy and the things that happen behind the scenes, being on council, understanding the relationships that's needed in the community. Tell me, what's some of the things that you've done in the past that qualifies you to run for council, and with your ideas, because nothing you said is wrong, but with your ideas, what strategies do you have to implement these ideas to bring them into fruition?
Are you only directing that to? Okay, the two on the end.
Thank you. What's your name?
Gary Young.
Gary Young. Hey, Gary. What side of town you from? All over. Okay. I appreciate the question. About 20 years ago, I went in to vote. And when I walked in, I saw a whole bunch of people that did not look like me. They were senior citizens. Some of them had age spots. blood coming out of the age spots. And I thought to myself, wow, how could I be a part of this? And that was when I signed up to volunteer to work for the Board of Elections. Very shortly after that, Barack Obama ran for presidency, and he talked about service. At that time in my life, when I was figuring it out, I realized that helping people and being of service to people, especially people where I come from, was important to me. We get a lot of bad advice on the West Side. We get a lot of bad press. A lot of bad press on the West Side. And the West Side is just like all other parts of Charlotte. They're good people. They're good, hard-working people. And because of a little thing called systemic racism, a lot of things have not been to our advantage, so to speak. But I've been in the community. I've sponsored voter registration drives. I started a nonprofit called the Network for Empowering Women and Men Everywhere, which looks to bring resources that organizations have to the people that need them. As far as bureaucracy and working with city leaders to get things done, relationship building is a part of everybody's life, whether you're in school, we were talking about conflict resolution, or anything. But as we've seen with Congress, it can go left. It can go left with people trying to do the right thing.
That was a good question. You know that. Hey, but listen though. All right, now I can speak on things I did recently, and I don't want accolades or anything for it. In 2022, my oldest son, who was 23 years old, never been in trouble, went to Florida State. I'm talking about just a great kid all the way around. Came back, was not the same dude. Came back, he committed suicide, I was saying, a couple of months after that. Then right after that, my mother passed. I mean, on Mother's Day. So I was just broken, you know what I mean? Like, I was just lost, that's life, you know what I mean? But it inspired me just to do more. I joined my youngest son school PTA. I became the PTA president there. And in that school, like, they couldn't even open a recession stand there, like, because they had no school funding. And through my contracting business, I paid for everything out of my own personal pocket. Every dime we made on that field to feed everybody, they gave it right back to the coaches, right back to the school. For the last 8 years, you can reflect, you call Mr. Mean right now, Eastway Middle. You guys spent the mean. For the last 8 years, I went there every day. I played Secret Santa. I didn't want my name to be known or anything. And then when the vice president came down here, she asked Mr. Mean, like, listen, is anybody in the school that you want to bring up there with you that really makes a lot? And she went up there and I met the vice president. Oh, that was great. Okay. But to say this though, like I can't come and ask y'all to help me do a change. I got to do it myself. I mean, and really getting in a better position like this, joining the city council or something like that. I mean, I can change the world, but I can do a lot more. And I want to give a shout out to Miss Tara back there because I had a youth drive and a youth job fair at Eastway Middle a couple months ago. And a lot of people participated, but a lot of people didn't hear me. You know what I mean? But that's why.
My question, I'm hearing the word data, I'm hearing the word gap, you've done things in housing, but how can, and I've been to a lot of workshops dealing with taxes, so how can you push a new tax while our neighbors are sleeping in tents under bridges, beside highways, and in our homes? So please tell me what type of plan that you have, that you want to do with these taxes and making sure that we understand it. Because these workshops are not that good at all, period, point blank, period. So going to them is not helping. What is your plans? Because you get that money and it goes somewhere else.
Okay, do you want the incumbents to ask that or
Yes.
everyone? Just the
Yes.
incumbents?
Now, if the other ones know, that's fine too. But they're the ones been talking more about it.
Okay, the incumbents. Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Penn. Appreciate your question. I do want to be clear for myself. I hope you haven't heard Dr. Watlington pushing a particular tax, because I'm still listening to the needs of the community. Absolutely, I wholeheartedly agree with most folks that we need investment in our transportation, right? I think right now is the time to have the community discussion about, is this the right plan for that? And each person has to decide that for themselves, but we owe you information and education. Thank you for attending the workshop so far. We do understand, and many of us on council have talked about what are ways that we can better engage the community where people are in bite-sized information. So happy to continue that discussion. And our staff has done all kinds of engagement beyond the workshops, coming to neighborhood meetings, popping up. We've even talked about how to partner with employers to do lunch and learns. So we are trying to get that piece right, but it's a lot to unpack. What I've heard so far in regards to the tax, there are still things that we need to work through, are a number of things. Number one, as it relates to the ETJ, how are we making sure that the LOIs, that the letters of intent that we have in place with Mecklenburg County will be enforceable, so that those roads right now that nobody owns, that we call orphan roads, have a solid plan for getting addressed, because many people live out in the ETJ and sometimes we have trouble getting resources to those roads. That's one thing. The extra territorial jurisdiction. And how many of you live within the city limits of Charlotte? Okay, there are several whose hands are not raised that live in the ETJ, and that's the part of Charlotte that's unincorporated. So there's many parts of Still Creek. There's almost 8,000 residents that live there, and it's only growing. So we want to make sure that that's correct. That's something that we can handle at City Council ahead of the referendum. So that's something that we are trying to work with our counterparts to get on the agenda. The second thing that we talk about is microtransit, and how do we make sure that the learnings that we've seen across our country and even in Gastonia are applied to our particular areas. We want to make sure that it doesn't feel like a worse option, but it's actually a rideshare option that people can use. Of course, we want to talk about economic mobility, and I know Councilmember Bayfield will pick it up from there, because participation is huge.
Thank you. Okay, the relay race. Dr. Penn, thank you for the question. In case there's anyone that is not quite sure what we're talking about, is the potential transportation tax that has been proposed. Again, just as Dr. Wallington mentioned, you have not seen me out advocating and or dispelling. I am trying to get as much information from the community as possible to better understand, because I have some concerns. I have concerns that we have recently removed a number of community bus routes. I have shared that concern for many years on council, the impact of bus routes that used to actually go into neighborhoods. Microtransit is a great idea for some. That is not a catch-all for everyone. For me, because if you don't have a smartphone, if you don't have a card attached to it, that still could be a challenge. So I have a lot of questions regarding also what is the additional language that the General Assembly added regarding them having 3 seats on this particular commission, and what could that possibly do? The city of Charlotte, we formerly used to receive money from the state. Basically, our tax money back through Power Bill to help with our roads. We haven't received that money. Dr. Grant, Malcolm, would you say 6, 7 years now that we haven't received that money? So I also have a concern that when and if this passes, that more responsibility will be put on us locally because of this tax, and that negates the state doing their responsibility when we're paying these taxes. So there's still a lot of conversations. In case people didn't realize, for the month of July, council finally had a break. So there's a lot of conversations that have been happening, but we're really going to be coming back together in another 2 weeks, where we'll be able to move forward. And when we look at our minority women small business enterprise, our federal government has created some major challenges for how we support and make sure that specifically our women and Black-owned businesses have an opportunity during this construction. So we're trying to figure out the legal language in order to make sure.
Well, you know, when you go last, one good thing is many things that I wanted to say has been covered by my colleagues. But I will say this, as a product of public transportation, this issue is very personal to me. My family didn't own a car for many years, and we relied on buses to get to work, to get to college, and to even get to a grocery store. I remember my parents would use those shopping carts to get to the bus stop and then get all the groceries in, and then my sister will meet them at the, and I also know what it feels like to wait for a late bus. Unfortunately, that's a reality for many Charlotteans. If you look at our city, we don't have very efficient transportation, unfortunately. Right now, it takes anywhere between 30 to 45 minutes to get from point A to point B, where it should be taking no more than 15 minutes. So this public transportation investment dollars will actually help invest in our in our Better Bus program, so that you will see more frequent buses. And we will also see more shelters, so that people are not standing in extreme heat, especially in this weather. I think we need to provide that dignity to those who ride public transportation. But I also want to directly address Dr. Penn's question, in our city or not. And that's where, thank you.
If you don't mind, I'd like to answer Dr. Penn's question as well. Sitting up here and listening to the responses, this is what I'm talking about. When we elect representatives or leaders, they should already know what the people want. For example, the light rail stops in front of Johnson C. Smith. There are a lot of people further up Bates Ford Road that could benefit from this light rail system, okay? Why is it stopped at Smith? I'm pretty sure there are answers to that question, but why is it stopped at Johnson C. Smith? Okay, so we need to know what we're going to do for the people that need it the most, all right? That's what I'm talking about as far as hitting the ground running. You don't need 10 years to figure that out, and then another 20 years for planning. So I just want to respond to that question.
Okay.
And we also have 4,000 homeless people living in this city. We have enough money to take care of these people with resources and services. It can be done, but we have to do it in the right way. So it's all about what we're actually doing once we're sitting in the seats.
Okay, Anisha. He wants to respond.
All right, now, I don't know a lot about the transit tax, but this is what I do know. I know we just had a meeting. I'm part of CRC. It's our home base right here. And they all came up here and set up billboards and broke the whole thing down to us, like in verbatim. Like they were saying, like if you live on Billy Brown and you work at the airport, you can see the airport right across the street, but you can't get there because of the way the traffic is. And they got the micro card, like the little card that comes up, you download the app and blah, it'll take you straight to work instead of, because I used to ride the bus system too when I first got to Charlotte. I lived on Raven Road. I had to take the bus downtown to go back uptown just to get to what they're doing, because Ray Ray catch the bus all the time. He like, they catching the bus. I like, man, yo, we gotta do something. I'm terrified of snakes. So I'm like, listen, so we literally took the weed eater out, went over there and cut the grass for him until the bus came. And there was a little concrete pad there. And they were saying with the transit tax, like they're gonna do a lot of infrastructure to fix a lot of places like that. And I rolled by so many people and see them getting rained on, just standing there. And like, right, it's
She said bring it on herself.
I think you probably would. I can't speak on it, but look, I got the lady email. She said anytime she want to set up a meeting, and I'm like, listen, there's so many people talking bad about you, but you talk so good. She said anytime you want to set up a meeting, just find a place and they'll come out here. It was like 6 of them. Hey, that's Miss Tara. She know, and Terry. They know.
Let me say this, we don't do rebuttals, okay, so just, we understand. Okay, we have quite a few more questions, so what I'm gonna do, you have 30 seconds to ask a question, but I'm gonna ask you 1 minute top to respond. And again, if you just want certain people, that would be great, that would eliminate, a lot of extra time. So, we're gonna go ahead with Anitra. Here's Anitra.
Karen.
Oh, okay.
Hello, I'm a long-time Still Creek resident, and I moved back to the area about 3 years ago, and I was born and raised in the area. But I'm curious for those council members, do you have a singular goal, and if so, how do you measure the success of that goal for that area?
For Still Creek.
For Still Creek.
Okay, so this is near and dear to our hearts in particular because both of us had the pleasure of serving District 3. I used to live in Still Creek. I lived out in Still Creek for 5 years. Still own property down there, so definitely an investment what happens in Still Creek. And if you're not connected already with the Still Creek Resident Association, I'd love to make that connection because they are awesome. They are on it. And one of the biggest things that has always been an issue in Still Creek, well, it's hand in hand. It's development and it's transportation. So you are familiar with Highway 160, so State Road. That road has been delayed and delayed and delayed on the state's transportation improvement plan for years. But at the same time, we at the local level, we don't have the authority to stop all development there. We would have to jump through a lot of hoops to be able to do that. I have pushed for it personally. I know that Councilmember Mayfield has investigated it as well, and it's something that we're still trying to get the political will to do, not because we want to stop development, but because we want smart development. But that's the question there. People in Still Creek are really, really concerned. So that's what's my focus for Still Creek is as we do growth and we do development, we are right sizing it for our infrastructure.
I agree with everything Dr. Wallace has said, because again, as the representative for 8 years in the area, one of our biggest challenges was the fact that the state maintains the roads. So as the growth and development is happening, and Still Creek still has acres and acres of undeveloped land. You don't want local government telling you can't sell your land. You don't want, nor would I want to tell someone that you can't sell your land, but we want to make sure that our UDOs to the same services, to our garbage pickup, to sanitation, to some of the other things. So that's causing a challenge. We are trying our best to support positive growth in the area when we have families that are selling and able to sell at a really good profit.
Sure. So, I hear every day from my husband because he works in Still Creek area and we live in East Charlotte. So it's a long commute for him, almost 45 minutes one way. So I hear about the congestion and traffic every single day. And he's like, what are you guys doing to address congestion and traffic in Still Creek? You need to prioritize that. And I always tell him that the same things about state maintained roads, but guess what? That's not what our constituent wants to hear, including our family members. They're like, you all gotta figure this out. And I agree with him. So really, I think that investment, the transportation, the mobility plan that will bring in over $100 million. That will give the city of Charlotte additional dollars to invest for an example, street lighting, sidewalks, bike lanes. It will also help us invest in turn lanes and so on. The city maintain roads so that congestion and traffic can move more faster. So obviously that is not the solution but that is something. It's really and I'm hoping the public transportation, really people moving from cars to public bus will also help address that.
April.
Good morning. I have a question for the new people. I know these ladies I answer. Dimple, Luana, Victoria, y'all don't answer, okay? But for you all that are new, I met you on the streets. You know, most of us been out here knocking and doing stuff out here, you know, long term with some of the ladies on this end. What
Okay, again, my name is James Giovanni Lockhart, running for City Council at large. Let me just talk a little bit about the 2040 plan. I live in the Greenville neighborhood, and it's close to where I grew up, and when I was able to purchase my house there, I was really happy. I was able to stay close to my family, and of course, be in a neighborhood that was close to the place where I grew up and learned a lot. When I can't answer this, and this, when the Toll Brothers moved in and wanted to establish multi-housing units, a 3,000 housing unit in our neighborhood, I gathered my neighbors and we went down to fight against that petition. A lot of the council members that are here now voted against that. They had no love for the Greenville communities. And to me, it hurt because we knew we were trying to preserve our neighborhood for what it was. And it upset me that people would move here and want to change what the people who lived here, how they lived. And that for me really was a catalyst for lighting the fire as far as why I wanted to run to make a change. Because again, there are a lot of people from Charlotte that are from here that like things the way they are. Yeah, we know we have to develop, we know we have to grow, but there's a such thing as controlled growth. I don't want to wake up tomorrow and see a 3-story house next to my house. I live in a ranch style house. But right now, the way it is, that's possible. And that's not the Charlotte that I know. Again, I started a nonprofit called the Network for Empowering Women and Men Everywhere. A lot of my focus is on voter education, voter integrity. We as a people, a lot of times don't vote for whatever reasons. We're not going to get into that, but there needs to be a lot more education as far as the power of the people. And I mean the people that put the people in office. Each and every one of you who are watching or sitting in here, if you have people that are of voting age, that power is in you. It's not just in your voice. It's not just in your fingers and the pen. It is in your vote. And with that, we change how this goes.
It's time. Thank you. I'm not sure what's going on with our time.
He says he can't answer.
Okay. I know, but I know he can't answer. None of us can answer in 1 minute. He's a long.
Y'all were the enforcer.
Okay, I will enforce. I will do the enforcing. Okay.
She want to ask.
She wants to answer. Okay. 1 minute.
Okay. So I've been a community activist and advocate and voter education and civic engagement all my life. But from a career perspective, I have worked for one of the largest employers in Charlotte area. And what I've done is work with workforce development partners like Putbill, Unidos, Gear Up, Empower, Road to Hire, because I am super passionate about ensuring that we can build vocational training and pipeline of talent that can come to high-wage jobs, whether it's tech, whether it's healthcare, whether it's manufacturing. So within my own organization, we built a program, and we were able to get 20,000 people who wrote to moderate income communities in the last 3 years. So for me, that is what I want to do more of, because there is a huge gap between the public and private on the ground. If you're getting city incentives, we need you to commit to hiring people from our community colleges, from our workforce development programs. So that's what I want to do at scale.
Thank you. Exactly. Okay, we still have, believe it or not.
We have one more person.
Okay, I know, but let me just say this. We have 11 people left on our list, and you look at the time, okay? So what I want you to do, if you have a question, please direct it at one person. Say who you want to answer your question. That's the only way we're going to get through this, okay? And then we'll have 1 minute to answer. Again, you're not going to get a deep dive into your answer, but we do the best we can to bring people in front of the forum. Okay, we do have one more person to answer that question.
All right, to answer that question, I have a lot of community events all the time for like the youth in Charlotte, and it's personally funded by me. Like we have book bag drives, community cookouts. Just on the Saturday, like get the whole football team over from Eastway or from my son's school down. Can't think of school. That's crazy. But yeah, I get the whole. I try to do a lot for the youth to make them understand that it's always a better way, and they can come together. Because sometimes what happened is, and what I noticed at the party he had, there was some people from the west side that he didn't know he came over there, and then it was the people from the south side that he invited. But come to find out, I knew they father. So by that little bridge right there, they all became friends instead of being enemies and stuff like that. Then plus I'm a contractor, so when I go out to certain apartments and stuff, and I see kids not knowing that for the summer, I'll pick them up and we go build a fence together, cut some grass, do some stones, some concrete. So that's what I've been doing in my community.
All right. Thank you for taking my question. My name is Dr. Philip Otienoburu. I work with Charlotte Center City Partners. This question is going to be for any of the incumbents, really, any one of them. And by the way, one of the best pieces of advice I've ever gotten is advice that I got from Malcolm Coley, to always stand for what is stand against what is illegal, immoral, and unethical. All right. So my question: how do you do that, especially when you have all this pressure? And how do you distinguish between the gray areas? It's not illegal, but it's unethical, or it's not unethical, but it's immoral. Thank you.
One person.
I think you just called me. No, that is excellent advice, and frankly, it's advice that I have heard as well along the way, and it's extremely important because you can sit in this seat for 20 years. You've got to be able to lay your head on your pillow at night and know, regardless of the title, because that phone call, some can attest, that phone stops ringing when you're not sitting in the seat, right? So you got to make sure that who you are every day, day in and day out, is consistent with who you want to be in this world. So, as I said before, some of the things that are very important to me and how I approach work is you put your eyes on the data. As a policymaker, it's wonderful to want to volunteer and do the work. You better know what those laws say. We are serving at the pleasure of the state. The general statutes tell us who and how we can move and make policy.
Okay,
Our city.
Time. Thank you.
So, but go ahead.
Long story short, know the data, know where you draw your authority from, and maintain your own standard. Don't be moved by what somebody else wants to do. There's always going to be some gray area unless you see it in black and white. Thank you.
Okay, we said one person to answer the question. Okay.
Well, you said to identify one, yes, ma'am.
Yes, he wanted one person. Okay. Darnell,
Ms. Mayfield, get back up. The issues of what they're voting for.
Morning Breakfast Forum at Black Global Caucus. Our Greek organizations are coming together. It's a community effort. It's an all-out effort. For those that are on social media, we're sharing information on our Instagram, on our Facebook. We're showing up at neighborhood meetings, at community events. But understand there are over 1 million people in the city of Charlotte. You have 11 members. We are trying our best to meet community where you are at and show up. So for those that may be watching online, if your neighborhood association is having an event, for those who are in here, invite us. There's no way for us to honestly know every conversation that's happening, and give us some grace, because we cannot be at everything, because some days there may be 3 or 4 events happening at the exact same time. So we are trying our best, but with you all helping us get the word out and sharing our information, that is how we hope to change the conversation.
we have an online question, so I'm going to let Winston read that.
All right, this question is from West Side Neighborhood Leader Ms. Maddie Marshall. There are major cuts from the current administration: housing, education, infrastructure, tariffs, health and human services, etc., resulting in increases to all goods and services. In your opinion, how will these cuts impact the budget and impact the proposed sales tax? Do you think the community area plans will benefit our communities? Thank you.
That's a whole lot for 1 minute to answer, but do the best you can, Ms. Dimple.
Yes, ma'am. Well, I chair the budget committee, and Councilwoman Mayfield serves on the committee, and Councilwoman Watlington is the honorary member of our committee. Well, that's a great question, Miss Maddie. I can tell you that this issue is not unique to the city of Charlotte. Municipalities, towns across the nation is facing this issue. I can tell you a number of organizations that received federal funding are getting cuts. I'll give you one example, which is For the Struggle. They got lesser funding, or actually their funding was cut. So what the city of Charlotte did, because we believe in their work to help seniors, to help our youth, we increased our investment in that nonprofit because we recognize the work that they are doing, especially in our youth, especially during the summer. And so we are being intentional about where we are investing our dollars and prioritizing organizations that are doing great work that have been hit the hardest by federal dollars.
Am I on? Yes. Good morning. This question is for our 3 challengers to the City Council at Large seats. Understandably, when you introduced yourselves, you told us about what you've done, what you would like to do, but can you tell us an area of deficit for you? What is something that you don't know, something that might be a challenge, you're not sure how you will address it? Anything along those lines, to any one of you who's willing to answer. Thank you.
I can go. I feel there's so many
She wanted the
areas.
incumbents. Then you want the
No,
other.
ma'am. No, ma'am. Just for the new leaders.
Oh, the new.
The whole, I think a lot of the issues in the city council right now are going to be new for me. I got engaged, like we were talking, how do we get people engaged? I got engaged with these forums. I started attending and I got engaged. But what I do know, I'm extremely gritty and I'm a hustler. So I can figure it out. I'm going to learn really fast. us, and I'm going to do that in conjunction with the community. Because I want to hear, because I do think it's time we have new voices. We challenge the status quo and we start doing things in a more cohesive and unified way as a council, because our city does deserve a high functioning city council, and that's one of the reasons I'm running.
I'd also like to address that question. Again, James Giovanni Lockhart, City Council at Large. I have a problem with BS. I have a huge problem with BS. And
one thing is like, how much really can I do? You know, I mean, I've been reading up on what City Council at Large do, like every night vigorously. But really, how much can I do? But I know I can listen to every person and have it listen to all their questions and their concerns. But really, how much power and control can I really change in the time period that we do get in City Council? So that's a challenge for me, because the same way I started, the same way I want to finish. So you know, that's my biggest challenge. You know, my biggest fear of doing this. Like actually telling somebody, like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna make sure that you pick your grass up on the time, get your trash clean like Valentine, even though you live on the east side. And then I get in there like, you can't do that. You know what I mean? So even though it's in the rules, you can do that, but you know, I don't have no control of that. I mean, just around the base. So that's just how I feel.
Okay, Winston has the next question, and then Patrick, you're after Winston. But I want to recognize our mayor. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Well, I am trying to work on Bethlehem Center to do more for youth work. So.
Okay, well keep it up. Keep it up. Okay, thank you. I want to recognize you. We also have Malcolm Graham, who is our District 2 representative, and he's a regular anyway. Thank you. Okay, we have Winston, Patrick, and then Robert. Those are the next three. Remember that we're coming to the end, so let's, I don't think we're going to get to every single person. I see, but I'm going. I have to call in the order that they raise their hands. Okay.
I'm okay to stay here to answer anyone's question after we finish.
Okay. Winston.
Veteran campaign move by the mayor. My question is for each panelist. In fewer than 10 seconds, please give me an original concept that you would like to push through as an initiative for public service if you are elected.
10 seconds.
Quick synopsis.
Okay,
Go ahead.
all innovation is some form of a derivative of something that's already going on. So one thing that I am pushing right now is executive and residence for the city. It's been a tremendous success at the CMS, and there's been interest by executives to participate with the city. I would love to see that.
Come on, Los Angeles.
10 seconds.
One thing that I'm working on right now is directly with our city attorney's office to look at our language when approving contracts, to rethink lowest responsive bidder versus lowest, putting that real energy focus around the responsiveness to create more access to diversity.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I can go. I would want to hold private companies who are in the Charlotte area getting city incentives more accountable to be able to give back in investing in workforce and jobs.
I would like to implement mandatory, not necessarily mandatory, but citywide town hall meetings on a regularly basis for neighborhood residents to come and speak with council people, commissioners about the issues.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else?
Mr.
10
Holly.
seconds.
I like to regulate some of these corner stores that got all these hoodlums. You can't even get gas tonight. You know what I mean? Like really, I mean seriously. Like I want to hold some of the stores, the people that own these stores accountable because that's free security for them. And it's causing a lot of problems in the neighborhood.
I'm gonna clap on that one. I'm gonna, thank you.
10 seconds. Address litter throughout the city.
Okay, we have, Patrick, thank you.
Luana,
Yes, sir.
we have on this transportation referendum that's going to be coming up, what's deemed as a regressive tax. People don't know what they don't know. Would you be so kind as to explain to those that are viewing, as well as those in this room, what a regressive tax is and who it negatively impacts? Victoria, there is an MTA board out there and or commission that people have pointed to that the city council has about 12 votes. 12 appointments that will make. The county commission some 6 to 7. Will you all work now, like they're doing on the other side, to ensure that there's representation for those of us that look like us to be on that board?
I'm gonna go ahead and apologize now because there is no way that I can do that in 1 minute, so I'm gonna pass this to Victoria, but I would like to answer that question, but I cannot honestly do that in less than a minute.
I totally agree. And it's a very, very important question.
I'll give it a shot.
But if you can do it, we are just strapped for time. Go ahead, do the best you can.
Regressive tax means that everybody's taxed at a higher percentage. The problem with that is if you make $30,000, your fundamental fixed income or fixed costs are the same. So if it's going to cost me $100 at the grocery store, it's going to cost you. But if I make $100,000 and you make $30,000, that's a bigger impact on your budget. That's what a regressive tax impact can do. That's why it's important. And then the second thing.
More income, more so?
Yes. There's a higher percentage of your income that is impacted when you're lower income as far as your discretionary. Because like I said, it's a fixed cost on things you have to spend on, and then your tax though, at that percentage, it has more impact on your budget. When it comes to the MTA, absolutely, we have to start now. And frankly, not just the MTA, but every city board and commission. So if you have skill set, you've got passion for transit, raise your hand. We want to hear from you. Please send us emails, send us your resume, give us a phone call, because at every level, we as a people have got to be more strategic. So please reach out.
Okay, and I'd like to just kind of piggyback on what you said. You said people that look like us on there. I think we need to say people who look like us who live in the affected areas. Absolutely. And, right. Okay.
And last, I just want to 30 seconds. Mr. Cannon, it's also very important that diverse representation reflects that we are actually having people who ride public transportation system. So we're not just making decisions for them, we are making decisions with them. Because unfortunately, many people who serve the transportation system, and we need to be very intentional that people who are taking transportation are being represented on those local boards and commissions. And that is near and dear to my heart because I did ride public transportation when we didn't have resources. Thank you.
Okay, Robert is going to be our last question, and I know we have 5 or 6 more people on the list, but our time is truly coming to an end. So I'm going to let Robert ask his question, and then we're going to close it out.
Thank you. Good morning. My question is going to be to, I can't see your name, you pronounce it appropriately. Namrata, okay. JG and Will. A lot of times there's open rhetoric from the people that are coming in. So what is the one thing that you're looking to change immediately when or if you get elected?
I'll go ahead and jump right in. I want to see a Chick-fil-A on Baby Sword Road. I want to see some development starting on the Ford Road corridor, and I believe a Chick-fil-A will begin that. I mean, Chick-fil-A represents so much to a lot of different people, but I think a Chick-fil-A on the Beatties Ford Road area would give, number one, those teenagers who are looking for their first jobs an opportunity to go somewhere and actually learn how to work in a good environment versus McDonald's and Burger King that have been there. And it will also spur additional development because everywhere Chick-fil-A goes, it's a success.
Okay.
I can go really quickly.
Okay. Go ahead.
I just want city council to be normal and boring again. I don't want headlines. I don't want us to be in the news. I mean, that's what I would really want to be able to do.
Some action on the violence going on in the city. That's the thing I like to change. Like work with the police force, the sheriff department, and see exactly what we can do to, to come back some of these street laws that get violence going on. Like even work with some of the judges, because you're telling me somebody shoot somebody, a murder charge, and go get a bond for like $50,000. That makes no sense to me, man. So we got to, like that's what I'm advocating for.
Okay, let's give them a hand. I just want to say this. We can't go into a real big deep dive with them, but then they came before us and they said what they said, but it's up to you to do your own reading and investigating and calling them, emailing them. Coming to a forum like this is not going to give you every single thing that you need to know. But there are opportunities to know, town halls, attending the meetings, watching them on TV and that kind of thing. So we do appreciate you coming today and saying what you did say. Okay, we appreciate you. We're going to let each person have a 1-minute closing statement. Okay. And then Winston will close.
It's not the words, but it's the actions. I have lived experiences as someone who came from poverty, who survived on subsidized lunch in school to public transportation, but I also have proven results. I've always voted my values, I've led with principle, and because of this lived experience, I have never forgot where I came from, and I've never lost sight of who government should work for. It is the people. So I hope you would continue to support me. Keep it simple, vote for Temple.
As I mentioned, I'm not a career politician. This is a new space for me. But what I am is a community-centered problem solver and an advocate. And I'll continue advocating the way I have all my life for city policies that build on equity, that build on tools that can make every single person in Charlotte thrive. I would love for you to get to know me better. Reach out to me, www.nyforcharlotte.com. And I want to hear from you because I want to learn with you. And I do think it's time.
You can go to www.olawarnermayfield.com. I want your support. I need your volunteerism. I need your donations because this takes a lot. I am proud of the work that I have done. I am proud that when I led the District 3 Airport Job Fair that ran for 7 years, we increased the number of Black-owned businesses within the airport. I am proud of the Youth Job Fair that I created with Charlotte Premier Outlets after I led that project. I'm proud of the Faith in Housing, but more importantly, I am proud that I volunteered in this community for more than 25 years, and the community is still who I fight for.
Thank you so much for your time today. Again, I'm Dr. Victoria Watlington. I serve you as a council member at large, and I'm running for re-election. I would love to continue the conversation with you. What we don't get to today, please reach out, winwithwatlington.com, or you can follow me on any social media platform. I ran on community, and that is what I bring every day to this work. Pragmatic, professional.
Thank you. First of all, I just want to thank everybody from the Sarah Stevenson Forum. I've been coming here for a number of years, especially when I was back at West Charlotte Rec Center. So I just thank everybody for their time. You guys don't know these people put in their own time to make this possible, to have a forum where people like me can come and have a place to speak to you and talk about what we want to do. So just thank them. I appreciate them very much. I love and care about this city that I grew up in too much to stand back and not do anything. There are too many people that I run to in circles that are saying that the reason I moved to Charlotte is not there anymore. So I'm running to make sure we preserve that Charlotte that we all love.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lockhart.
I want to thank everybody that came out today, panel, people here. If you feel like me, I'm going to advocate for you. I mean, like, I'm going to go to child support, I'll go with you. I'm going to go down to the fire department. I mean, I really mean that because I'm really passionate about this, man. Like, when I grew up, I'm one of the people that always know a guy. You know what I mean? But now I know a guy that really know a guy that really can help a guy to get to a guy. So, you know what I mean? So you put me in office, that's what I mean. I'm not taking no shots at nobody, everybody doing a good job. But you know what I'm saying? Just give me a chance, I'll make things change.
And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause to our esteemed panel of incumbents and candidates. Thank you for, we're gonna, so again, I know important people got important stuff to do, so please, if you have to leave, go ahead and do so. We are going to continue with announcements. Thank you all for coming. This is the journey we will take until September, I believe, right, candidates? Every week.
Next week is the mayoral.
This will be, again, we want to leave, need to leave, but we have an announcement from Arlesia. Hold on, we're gonna let people clear out for a little bit.
Good morning. I'm Arlethea Hailstock with Rosenthal Arts. I apologize if this sounds like an ad because it truly is an offer. There is a show that we are producing that opens on July 29th. It's called Immediate Family. We are not typically in the business of producing theater. When you come and see Hamilton or The Sound of Music, that is a presented show that is produced out of New York. But we're presenting this piece. It is a black family story. It is about a black gay man in Chicago who brings his boyfriend home to introduce them to his family. His dad had been a pastor. His sister has kind of taken up the mantle as the family matriarch. And they are not upset that he's bringing home a man. They're upset that he's bringing home a white man. It is really funny. It is very well written. And I think as a family story, all of us can identify with it. I have been given permission to comp tickets for this show liberally. We really, really need black people to come and see this show, if I'm being 100% honest. So if you will come and see the show, let me know and I will make a ticket available for you. We would love to, yes, Ms. Mayfield, we would love to have groups of your friends, family, neighbors, women's groups. It is, I won't say it's for the babies, but I would say 12 plus. I'm coming with some, sorry. 12 plus. Come and see the show. I'm going to ask Winston to put my email in the announcements. Shoot me an email if you want to come see the show. I got a ticket for you and your people. Thank you.
Thank you, Arlethea. So this young lady had a question. Her name is Mary Jane. Her announcement is going to be her telling you about herself. So please, introduce yourself, Mary Jane.
Thank you. Good morning, y'all. Thank everybody for being here. My name is Mary Jane Watkins. As Faith mentioned earlier, I'm a summer intern at Habitat of the Charlotte region. I've been here since May. I've had a great time. Born and raised in Stanley County, very familiar with Charlotte. And I'm also a fourth-year student at UNC Chapel Hill. My question, since Mr. Lockhart's still here, what are your ways to support youth home ownership in Charlotte specifically? As a college student, there's a growing concern that we're going to graduate college and not be able to come back home to Charlotte and afford to own a home. So how do you plan to support that?
What a plot twist. I thought you were going to I was trying to set it up to get some internships and jobs. You asked me a question. I need a house. Hey, Mr. Lockhart, I need a house about to graduate.
Yeah, and I like that. I think she's right on. Coming out of college, not only should you be armed with what you need to go out here and have gainful employment, but you should be able to be in a position to purchase a home if that's what you want to do. And I'll be honest with you, a lot of that starts at home with people that care about you, explaining to you how to purchase a house, how putting yourself in a position to buy a house. A lot of homeowners in Charlotte, especially people in color, are still first-time home buyers, the first people to own homes in their families. And we've got a lot of people that are aging out and are losing their homes because they don't know exactly what to do with their homes when they get to a certain point or when the house is paid off, the property taxes that are owed. So it starts with educating all young people at a very early age, and I believe that should be done. In school before they even go off to college, so when they go off to college, they can just focus on college, and when you get out, you already have a plan.
Thank you, Mr. Lockhart. We have an announcement from Jay Hill.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Jay Hill, and I'm from West Boulevard. And on Saturday, I am hosting a cleanup called So Fresh and So Cleanup Day. And so I'd like to invite all the candidates to come out and help me clean up from the exit to Villa Graham Parkway from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. I surely appreciate that. And then on Tuesday, the Power Mixer is back at Alchemy.
In North Carolina Black Alliance and Advanced Carolina will be hosting their first Southwest Region Cluster Meeting. It will be virtual at 6:30 p.m. I will make sure Steve has a link. So I'm looking for all the Black leaders, elected officials, business owners. We would love to have you on this call and represent Mecklenburg County. It'll be Cleveland, Gaston, Cabarrus, Mecklenburg, and Rowan on the call. Get Mecklenburg on there. Thank you.
All right, we have Gary, then we have Miss Jackie, then April.
All right, real quick, because we're going to do this announcement again next week. Juice Box, which is a juice bar, recently did their soft opening yesterday at 2020 Batesford Road, right beside TD Bank. We often hear about needing healthy options on the west side. Well, you have one. Come and support. It is Black owned. It is native Charlotte bred. One of the owners is a West Charlotte alum. And so come out and support the way they support juice bars in other parts of Charlotte.
That's right. Watch that Chick-fil-A down with some good. I'm sorry. We got Miss Jackie.
I wanted to remind us that on Tuesday, August the 5th is National Night Out. Please attend in your neighborhood. Yes.
All right, if all hearts and minds are clear, no more than that. Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me, April, please.
Get that
April,
mic.
we gotta give April a mic.
April, get that mic right there.
Talk loud. No, I can't. Okay, just very, very quickly. This is later this afternoon at 5:30 on the almost in the Hidden Valley area, but right off Sugar Creek, in that neighborhood area right at the intersection between Sugar Creek and Reagan. We're gonna be doing a rally. So you all, for those of you that are running for office and hoping to be reelected, please come out and see what's going on in that area, that corridor of Sugar Creek and in the Hidden Valley side, because projects, as well as some of the other nonprofits are doing this. It's very important. If you all go down Sugar Creek, you see how bad it gets. And you got to remember, Charlotte is almost 3 or 4 for trafficking. And the drugs are just coming from bad to worse. So please come out at 5:30 if you can. Try to make it your business to come, because you can't be complaining if you ain't out there trying to help me change.
Thank you so much, April. We have Faith Triggs, then we have Mr. Ken Combs.
Just informational, Commissioner Vilma Lee tonight at 6 o'clock at the A&E Zion Church off of Shopton and South Tryon is going to be doing a forum on the transportation, the Munson sales tax. So hopefully you'll come out for that.
Thank you, Faith. Go ahead and close us out, Ken.
I told y'all earlier, I'm the dinosaur in the room. The empty wagon gets the oil. Bailey's-Ford Road is the empty wagon. But there are other empty wagons that are trying to get some oil. And Steel Creek is one of them. West Boulevard is another. There's East Side as well. So don't get it stuck in your mind that Bailey's-Ford Road is the only place for black folk who need and want something done. They're all over the place, and you need to get involved and know where they are, what they are, and for the record, Chick-fil-A, research the ownership's interest.
That's right.
Just like we're going to go ahead and close it off right now. So research that on your own time. So we're going to close this out. Thank you for attending another dynamic, exciting Tuesday morning forum. Next week we have the mayoral candidates with us for what the streets have deemed big time Tuesdays at the Sarah Tuesday morning forum. I hope to see you again. Please join us.